somewhere else, but this is where we found ourselves. Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Welcome to another edition of the Local Show here on GrassRoots Community Network. I'm Erik Skarvan, your host. Thanks for joining us, guys. Hope you're having a great season. Happy New Year if you haven't joined us for a while. So excited and honored to be joined by a longtime friend, a return guest, but it's been a number of years. He is the founder of the Ut Mountaineer. It's Bob Wade. Welcome back to the show, Bob.
Hi, Erik. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been really fun hanging out, talking before the show about some of our topics, but the natural topic is skiing. It has been an incredible season, Bob. And can you tell us a couple highlights of your winter ski season so far?
Well, I've been aced out of my hut trips until tomorrow.
Okay. What happened?
Family stuff.
Okay.
I had to take care of my brother who's in assisted living.
Okay.
But what are we, 130, 140% of median? We're doing great that way. And having the last couple of days be really gray and then get a bluebird like this, you just appreciate it that much more.
I mean, it's like, yeah, you're right. It's like when you haven't had something for a while, like if it's so many snowy days, all of a sudden it's bluebird, like the color of your jacket. It was like today, as we date this, January 31st, was a bluebird powder day. I was so fortunate to be up snowshoeing Richmond Ridge.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I had to put the blinders a little bit to not stare at Highland Bowl too much. You know, it's kind of like this a little bit. But you got up on the bowl and pretty good lap today. Up in Highland
very
Bowl.
nice. And walking up the ridge and watching people just ripping the bowl and that cold smoke coming off was it was awesome.
It's kind of fun. Just like for me, I seem to enjoy the aesthetics. Like, meaning that watching other people have fun is almost, I'm going to say almost as fun as me taking those turns myself. And for me, it's trying to bring out the camera. I was a 5-year blogger on Highland Bowl for SkiCo, obviously, every week. So it was all about pulling out the camera, either before or right after I did my turns. And I have to say, I get so much enjoyment out of that. And I'm like cheering guys on. Like if I ski down, I'm like, woohoo, yeah. I'm like trying to get them almost to go, like shoot up a higher rooster tail or something. But isn't that fun just to see other people? Just
Definitely.
And hear them hooping and hollering down in the bowl, like on a big pow day?
No, again, a Tuesday, lots of locals out that we're still a ski town.
Yeah, it's so cool to see. It's such a great feeling, and it's exciting. So hopefully we'll continue on our 130, 140% above average snowfall this season. And let's go back a little bit in time. Growing up, where are you from originally?
I was born in Long Beach, California.
Long Beach. Mm-hmm. So I would not have guessed that because you seem like such a winter guy, like such a ski guy and backcountry guy.
Keep going. I like that.
So tell us about your highlights, like your stepping stones that led you to like such a life in the backcountry here in Colorado. I mean, you founded the Ut Mountaineer. How many years ago was that?
45, I think, something like that.
So what were some of those steps along the way to create that intense passion for the outdoors?
Well, back in California, my dad was really into sailing, and he did a lot of competitive sailing.
Oh, cool!
So that was my first taste of the outdoors.
Okay.
And it's sailing is really cool and very much like life in the mountains because you can't overcome the elements sailing. You have to go with them.
Right.
The sea, the wind, so on, the weather. And so I think that really gave me the start to just enjoying nature.
Okay.
And then my dad, when I was graduating from high school, said, so what are you doing this summer? And I said, I don't know, screwing off like usual. He goes, I have a friend out in Arizona that runs a river rafting business, and he needs some people, and you're going to be working for him.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for letting me know, Dan.
I was not very well self-directed, so
a little guidance was helpful.
It was definitely helpful. So that led me to working ultimately as a guide in the Grand Canyon,
Wow.
the ultimate natural high, you know. And that led me to appreciating geology,
Okay.
and that led me to Colorado to study geology because it's sort of the ultimate field experience
Yeah, yeah.
here. And so I went to CU and got into the mountains and backcountry skiing and all that.
Is that where you started to explore climbing as well as a
Yeah,
climber?
that was my first taste of climbing.
Okay, is that like in the Flatiron area outside of Boulder?
Yeah, that was my first climb. I think was the third Flatiron.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Like, so how did your climbing, or how has your climbing progressed since CU? Because you've done some pretty high level stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm, okay. I had a friend in the geology program that turned me on to climbing, and his name was Charlie Brown.
Oh, really?
Love the guy.
Good grief.
And was a wonderful mentor. Got me into appreciating that side of nature.
Nice.
And I needed to work. That was I already talked about my dad.
Reoccurring theme.
Yeah. And so I got a job in a climbing shop in Boulder, the Boulder Mountaineer.
Nice.
And run by a wonderful man, Bob Culp, who's still in his 80s, a mountain guide.
Wow.
So just being in that environment in a climbing shop, being around climbers just got me hooked up with more and more interesting climbs and so on and so forth.
And what's your pinnacle, I guess, of climbing? Have you done some stuff in the Himalaya?
Just one trip to the Himalaya. I really like climbing in Yosemite. I did Half Dome and El Cap a couple of times.
Nice.
But maybe the big deal for me was climbing the north face of the Eiger in Switzerland.
Wow.
We did that in 1976, and it's been downhill since then.
Literally, because you got to come down off the Eiger, and then But that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, that was. We were very fortunate to have really awesome weather for it, and it worked out well. I'm still friends with my mate that I did that with, and
which is Ruth.
No.
Or
no.
Oh, okay, friends.
Yeah,
friend. Ruth's your wife. That's more
Ruth
than
is my wife. I would not put her through that. She's done some big climbs in the Tetons and in Yosemite and stuff with me, but I just not comfortable endangering somebody. I don't know. You got to be really into it.
Yeah. Well, for me too, I don't know about, maybe you could speak to this, but as I get older, I'm willing to take less and less risk.
Right.
So I think too, there's I'm going to call it a wisdom there, but a conservatism. I half joke, dying is no way to go through life.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's better to live to love another day than to push it, right? And especially if you have let's talk about this gut feeling. Can you speak to that? When you get into a situation that's maybe climbing or backcountry skiing or, how do you decide? Go or not go? Because I know that's a critical point for a lot of people. And some people who choose to go, then they don't get to go again because that cost them their life that day.
Yeah. That's a very interesting thing to think about because you wonder is it just my fear running away with me, or is there some message here?
Yeah.
And I think it's important to listen to that.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be afraid.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I was just involved with a ski accident on Highlands a few weeks ago. Well, almost a month ago. Dave Turner, who was killed I was skiing with him that day,
Oh, I did not know that. I'm
and
so sorry.
so we were side by side,
Oh my gosh.
and I just wanted to sort of reach out and say to his family, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I can just say that Dave was doing all the right things, and something went wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think an internal voice would have saved the day there. Shit happens.
Sometimes
Excuse me.
it's just an accident.
Yeah, and so part of what we do, you guiding people out on Richmond Ridge and people skiing in the backcountry, there's an element of risk to it, and you have to accept that. And the thing is it's a big responsibility, because if you die, you don't know about it. You're gone.
Right.
Your family, your kids, your grandkids, they suffer like mad.
Exactly.
And that's not to say it's not worth it, but you should be cognizant of those risks and try not to take undue risks.
Excessive, yeah.
And also, it's important to talk with your family about your values. I know Dave, he was a big climber, a big skier, and he did talk with his wife and kids about how much he loved it.
Yeah.
And there's always that possibility out there. It doesn't make it wrong if somebody goes out and gets themselves killed in the mountains, but you have to be aware of the ripple effects of your actions.
Right. It's not so much, even though it is a personal choice, it affects a lot of other people. And for one, the people that are there that day, the rescuers, the community, the family, the kids are growing up with no dad anymore. We've seen that so many times in Aspen. I've had my own neighbors go away, and we know some of these people, you and I, that, the thing I think for me, though, is turning the back on a number of red flags, and they decide to go anyway.
Yeah.
That, to me, doesn't make sense. And there's been a number of situations, even a few years ago, when we saw one of the higher-ups from Mountain Rescue get killed in Maroon Bowl.
Right.
There was 4 or 5 red flags that day.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm just going to go anyway, in an almost an arrogant fashion. I'm just going to say it. That's my truth. That's what I saw. I was in the area. I was waiting for the bowl to open that day. They didn't open Highland Bowl for a reason. Mm-hmm. And then these guys decided to go ski the other side. Yeah. So I think it's minimizing risk, which means you see the red flags and you say, you know what, I'm going to respect that. I'm not going today. But then just to ignore that and say, I'm so good, or I know so much, or I'm so strong that I'm going anyway, that's a different thing. So each situation's unique, right? And they're all different and unique. Yep. But I've seen a number of them where these guys have said, I'm just going anyway. And, or one more run.
Right.
And then that's it. And now, again, it's affected so many people.
Yeah, I think sometimes we let our egos creep in and drive our decisions. Yeah. And I don't know, that's when you need to do a little reality check and have some humility and say, this thing's bigger than me, and am I doing the right thing?
And we're finding out more through science how much of our stomach matters. It has a component to it, like Definitely. Our brain and our heart, that sends out messages. Yeah. And it sometimes I think if we're more intuitive, if we key in on what our body's telling us, that can give us some additional information, but we have to pay attention and not just ignore it and go, it's just, I just have an upset stomach, or I'm just, or there's so much peer pressure, we gotta go. Yeah. You see that a lot too. Hey, we've worked all day long to get up here. We're going. And there's almost this group determination and drive that's going no matter what. And you don't want to be that one person. But I don't really, and I think there's a tough situation there sometimes too. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually is, I can't remember what they call that, but it's kind of a groupthink thing on avalanches. It's been studied time and time again with very experienced groups that people are afraid to pull the plug.
Right, exactly.
We're all experts here.
Right.
I also think, Erik, it's important when things go wrong is not to be too judgmental.
Yeah.
And to look at it, look in the mirror and say, have I done that before? You know, what can I take away from this accident that can inform me in my next decision?
Right, and compassion. You know, compassion. And,
For again, when somebody's getting, you know, judged like those guys in Maroon Bowl, you know, it must be hard on their loved ones hearing that.
That's a good point. That's a really
Yeah.
good point. We're going to take a quick break because we've got so much to get to.
All right.
Yeah, we got a lot coming on here on our plates, including cookies, which, you know, that'll be a tasty little delight later on. You got to make it through the whole show, though, first, Bob.
Oh,
this grueling test of conversation. I do want to thank our winter underwriters, seriously, for making these shows happen all winter long throughout the ski season. We've got the Aspen Square, the City of Aspen, Haiti Children, Klug Properties, White River Overland, Red Brick Center for the Arts, Pitkin County Solid Waste Center, and Sundog Athletics. I got them all up there in the thickness. We're going to go to a quick break, guys. We'll be on for 2 minutes. Our only break of the show. We'll be back with Bob Wade. We're going to talk about the Independence Pass Foundation, the great outdoors, and so much more, so don't go away.
Donate, shop, and save. The Mother Lode Mercantile, now open at the Pitkin County Landfill.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
White River Overland in Aspen specializes in camper van upfitting, catering to mountain dwellers and outdoor enthusiasts. WRO's builds are purpose-driven to facilitate and enhance skiing, cycling, camping, climbing, and river adventures. More information at whiteriveroverland.com. Providing exceptional service for over 50 years, Aspen Square features studio and larger condominiums for nightly rental with an ideal downtown Aspen location. They offer fully equipped kitchens, wood-burning fireplaces, and private balconies with full hotel-style services and gracious hospitality. Aspen Square is proud to support the local show. The Red Brick Center for the Arts is Aspen's hub for creative activity, offering youth and adult art classes, community rooms for rent, artist studios, nonprofit offices, lectures, events, and rotating exhibitions with artwork for sale. Come by to connect and be inspired. Learn more at redbrickaspen.com. Sundog Athletics, Aspen's adventure sports school and snowshoeing specialist since 1996, is your opportunity to experience private, all-inclusive snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, and fat biking instructional adventures that will immediately improve your safety, performance, and enjoyment. Like Sundog Athletics on Facebook for fresh updates, or explore sundogathletics.com.
Support for the local show comes from the City of Aspen. The Castle Creek Bridge is nearing the end of its lifespan, and the city is proposing an entirely new bridge as a safe and resilient solution. You can learn more about the bridge construction, transportation options, and in-person and online public events at castlecreekbridge.com.
Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
We're back here on the local show, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. We got the founder and former owner now of the Ut Mountaineer, Bob Wade, and local retail. Let's start with that, because to run the Ut Mountaineer, which is still going, 40, how many years?
45.
45 years later. What are some of those keys to longevity, Bob? You were like the Klaus Obermeyer of retail.
No.
You just
Not
keep
even
going
close.
like an ever-ready bunny. Like, what are those keys?
Well,
You've outlasted almost everyone.
I mean, our mission has always been to connect people with the right stuff, and if you do that, you treat them with respect, then they're probably going to come back.
Right.
I mean, it's a pretty simple program. I'm not a big numbers person. I've had to learn them, being a retailer.
Yeah.
But I think, more the keys to success are respect and integrity.
And just getting,
Really?
like you said, the right stuff. So you have
Yeah.
to identify, some of the expertise is identifying the right stuff. Because
Definitely.
obviously there's thousands of right stuff. Like,
Yes.
you could get this line of clothes and this line of snowshoes and this.
Right. Back to your REI
Yeah.
versus ROI.
I like that discussion.
Yeah.
If we only had an hour show.
We in a store our size, we can't carry everything. So we have to be the filter for the people that come in the store, and we have to find the best stuff, particularly for this area, but stuff that they can take back home and use
Right.
successfully.
How does that process work?
You mean,
Choosing that stuff.
well, I'm not, believe it or not, I'm not a big gear freak.
Okay.
I like stuff that works. I don't like gadgets that fall apart.
Okay.
So maybe that's helped. I don't know. I'm really into things that endure. And, they show their sense over years, not just, oh, this is really cool.
And jump on the newest gizmo or gadget.
Yeah.
Not so much about that.
Yeah,
But durability over time.
Yeah, sustainability of what its mission is, what it's supposed to do.
Right.
But it's interesting that you can carry good stuff, but you also have to lead your customers into the next thing. Because if they come into the shop and it's the same old stuff all the time, it's like, show me something new.
Right.
So
the progression.
Finding cool new stuff that isn't gimmicky that's my call to action, and I love doing that. I just
Right.
I like the people that create that stuff because they're really into it. They're into quality and integrity, not just flash in the pan good looks for the big sale and then it falls apart.
Right.
So,
right.
an interesting example of this, which is it's a double-edged sword, is this InReach product that it's a personal locator beacon. So
Okay.
if you run into problems, you hit the old SOS button there, right? There's been a lot of discussion about people using that improperly. It's like,
Right.
I'm thirsty, help.
Right.
Mountain rescue. And I think there was one chap in the Grand Canyon, after the second helicopter ride out of the canyon, they just took his InReach away from him and said, go away. You're endangering the rescue people.
Second time he had
Yeah.
done that. Wow.
But it is, I think it's a good tool used properly because a lot of times people are running late and their family's worried about them. They don't know whether to get in touch with Mountain Rescue or not. And these things have the ability to let your family know, I'm late, but I'm okay.
Right. Huge.
Or I packed it in, I'm gimping bad, send a couple of my friends. You don't need to send Mountain Rescue,
Right.
And I've twice initiated rescues for other parties with my InReach.
Okay.
Fortunately, I haven't had to be rescued.
Because you come upon these people in the backcountry and they're injured or
and
need help.
they're having a problem.
Right.
And so, it's a good tool, needs to be used correctly.
Right.
Just an example, I guess.
I would imagine part of that too is, like you say, over time, like you're demoing, you're using you're testing these products.
Good point.
Right? Over time, and that's got to be enjoyable, right?
Yes.
Like I got to try these climbing harnesses or whatever they are. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not a big climber, but
Yeah.
that's got to be part of the key too.
My family kind of calls me the Imelda Marcos of the shoe world because I have it's sort of a enlarged shoe collection back there. But in my defense, I'm sample size. These reps have to get it on somebody, so I just happen to be the size that the companies make first.
Oh, okay. One of the more common sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not.
So
gonna
these are
tell you what
climbing shoes, and
whatever,
running shoes, and
ski,
all
whatever
different kind of. Okay.
Yeah, so that happens, but yeah, it is fun to try out all the new stuff, but again, not all the new stuff is the good stuff.
Right.
So
right.
I've tried a lot of stuff that was painful or didn't work or whatever, but that's how we get to the good stuff.
Right. You hit the button and hit the trap door, and that stuff's not. But
Yeah.
But,
and I'm okay with that. I like sort of pondering the strengths and weaknesses of products.
It seems like a company like Patagonia would be right up your alley because if you get sustainability, environmentally conscious,
Yeah.
now Chenard's
Yeah.
like going to donate
Yeah.
to charities.
Yeah.
We're down to just a couple minutes, Bob, and I wanted to talk about the IPF because
Yeah. Oh,
you're
yeah.
on the board of directors for the Independence Pass Foundation.
Right.
And can you talk a little bit about your love for IPF and the importance of it?
Yeah. A friend of mine, Bob Camp, who was our accountant at Reese Henry and Associates, got me on the board 20-some years ago. And,
Fantastic.
I was doing a lot of climbing up there, hiking, so on and so forth. And it was a good place for me to give back to. It's been good to me. It's been good to the Ute. And so the Independence Pass Foundation, their mission is to be stewards of the pass.
Yeah.
Historical, environmental, all of that. And so I've really enjoyed it. We were talking earlier about having volunteers up there, and that's been really powerful for us to get people up there to work on different trails, planting trees. We get the middle schoolers out every year, and getting those kids connected early with, hey, this is my backyard.
Right.
They're into it.
Teach your children well. As
There
they
you go.
said, I think
Yeah.
CSN said and sang back in the day.
Yeah.
I wish
yeah.
we had more time, buddy. Did you have fun on the show today?
I did. Thanks, Eric, for having me.
Thank you for taking the time. I really
You bet.
appreciate it. I did bake you cookies because I knew that was probably your main reason for coming back.
Well,
So
not the main, but
wanted
I
to
am a
cover it.
cookie monster, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You and Klug.
Klug
calls himself the Cookie Monster.
Oh, okay.
Just so you
we'll
know.
see. We'll see about that.
You guys might have to have a cookie eat-off competition.
Well, I'm into demoing the products, so I'm going to give you a little.
See how durable the flavor is.
Okay, you got it.
Thanks so much, Bob Wade.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you for watching this week on The Local Show.
Donate, shop, and save. The Mother Lode Mercantile, now open at the Pitkin County Landfill.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
White River Overland in Aspen specializes in camper van upfitting, catering to mountain dwellers and outdoor enthusiasts. WRO's builds are purpose-driven to facilitate and enhance skiing, cycling, camping, climbing, and river adventures. More information at whiteriveroverland.com. Sundog Athletics, Aspen's adventure sports school and snowshoeing specialist since 1996, is your opportunity to experience private, all-inclusive snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, and fat biking instructional adventures that will immediately improve your safety, performance, and enjoyment. Like Sundog Athletics on Facebook for fresh updates, or explore sundogathletics.com.
Welcome to